welcome back to AnimeAnalysis. So, I just finished up the first season of Sirius the Jaeger, and I'm going to talk about it for a little while because I really enjoyed what was going on. This is really just going to be me in front of my microphone. I'm going to talk about it, and then also at the end of the video I'm going to talk about what shows I'm going to be watching next, so you guys can get excited for those. You're also welcome to recommend anything you want me to watch that I may not have in the comments down below. Now, without further ado, I want to jump right into it because the thing is with Sirius the Jaeger is it's one of those shows that I browsed through on Netflix and I was like, well, this looks good. It's a Netflix original, and the first thing I do when it comes to Netflix original anime is I notice that a lot of times Netflix really only hosts anime that have very good English dubs. At least that's how I feel. So the first thing I did is I looked it up. I said, how good is this English dub? And they said, it's pretty good. And most of the time, I actually go with subtitles. Subtitles is almost always better. My favorite shows of all time, Naruto being one of them, I watched fully in sub. However, if I'm going to start from scratch and it's just a few episodes, I like to do a dub because a dub usually is kind of my lazy show, I guess I should say. Sirius the Jaeger was a show that I tended to watch like right before I went to bed, and thus I didn't feel like reading the subtitles, and it was way easier to just sit there in English and listen to it instead. So that's what I did. I watched it in English and I was very happy. Voice actors were great, they were great. So if you're thinking about watching it in English, that's the way you want to go. So let's talk about the first. I'm gonna go with the first 3. I believe actually maybe the first 2. No, I'm gonna go with the first 3 episodes. So the thing is with the beginning of the series is I noticed one thing in particular. That one thing in particular was how slow it was. And not even how slow it was. How they talked about so much stuff that didn't end up mattering for later. And because of how all of that happened, I noticed that my mind just like stopped listening to the show, which I've never actually had happen before. It almost made me want to turn it down, but I said no. I'm going to watch this. It's 12 episodes. I like the premise of it. It's going to get better, right? And as soon as they flip that switch, MIKHAIL shows up. And not even MIKHAIL showing up. MIKHAIL showing up and then later confronting YUILY so that we know it's his own brother was great. Now, the initial reveal of MIKHAIL being alive was dumb because of the fact that we didn't even know who MIKHAIL was and that he was YUILY's brother. There was no way of introducing him before that even happened, so that wasn't that great of a moment. But when MIKHAIL confronted YUILY on the train, I really, really liked that moment, and that was when things got a lot better. And when we saw further down how MIKHAIL betrayed Kirshner in order for YUILY to live, things like that. We knew his true intentions. We knew that he had to be a vampire in order to protect YUILY, and that was it. I was happy about that. That was very well put together. It did the right thing. I really liked the whole Jaegers versus vampires story. It was very bloody and gory, but it was fun, and it was something I've never seen before. A lot of people said, when I looked up some other reviews that a lot of people said that it was really similar to Castlevania, and I said, well, I've never seen Castlevania, but that might be one that I give a try to sometime soon, because, I mean, when you think about it, if that many people say it's similar, then it is very similar. But it was really fun. I liked the premise of the vampires versus the Jaegers. I thought that was really fun. I really enjoyed the series because of that. And moving on from there, MIKHAIL was introduced. Then we go all the way down to YUILY versus Kirshner. Now, YUILY versus Kirshner was the best battle of the series, in my opinion. I really don't see anything that was better than that moment in time. I know the final battle was the final battle, but Kirshner was a good villain. They built him up. YUILY killed him. That was great. Where it came down to later when it was Yevgrov, Yevgrov was killed by himself, pretty much. The Arc of Sirius killed him, so it wasn't nearly as exciting as I really wanted it to be. The cool thing, though, about the YUILY versus Yevgrov fight is we got to learn a lot about the Arc of Sirius. We got to learn just truly what YUILY can do when he's fully powered up and ready to go, so all kinds of things like that were also terrific. So as for the characters I liked and the characters I didn't, the characters I liked YUILY a lot, and I liked MIKHAIL a lot. Those two characters together were great. The villains were kind of alright. Kirshner was alright. I would say Yevgrov was actually a better... I liked Kirshner better, but I think Yevgrov was a better villain, and he was better acted, and he was a better put-together character. So I give... And because of the fact that he was the one who had control over MIKHAIL, things like that, that made sense to me. So I would say I liked Yevgrov and Kirshner as well. Those 4 I liked. I now going for the other guys, and I say the other guys because there's really not much to say about the rest of the Jaegers. So, I remember so little about the rest of the Jaegers that I barely remember. I don't even know two of their names. There's the one big dude and there's the one girl, and I don't know their names. I know Philip, and the reason why I know Philip's name is because Philip annoyed the crap out of me. So I had no choice but to just remember his name because I hated him so much. And the other was the professor. And the professor was actually pretty cool and pretty well done. I'm going to add him to my liked category. I had no problem with him whatsoever. He was pretty cool. No problem. But Philip, God, it's so annoying. So unbelievably annoying, man. There also weren't that many characters. I think that's another thing this show struggled with. In 12 episodes, the last thing you want to do is over-introduce characters, because then you're taking so much time to build these characters up so you understand them, but then again, you also don't have time to do that. And that's why I didn't like the other Jaegers, but I liked the Professor, and I liked YUILY and MIKHAIL, because YUILY and MIKHAIL had an ongoing story with the Professor as well mixed in there, where we knew about their past and we knew all about all these things. They didn't have time to do that for the rest of the characters, so maybe 25 episodes would have been a better way to do the first season. That's also a possibility. I know a lot of people also didn't like the way it ended, but let me tell you this right now. It is coming back for a season 2. I mean, I really can't see that not being a possibility. It does look like it was rather closed-ended. It does look like they might not have too much to go off of, but no. I think they have enough. I think it's going to work. I think they're going to go to season 2. It's going to be YUILY with the Arc of Sirius in his hands, in his possession, with his power. He's going to bring an end to every single vampire because his brother's no longer one of them, so he has no reason to not kill every single one. That is the way I think it's going to be going down. So I would give this series, I think I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. That's obviously not the greatest thing ever, but I did very much enjoy the show, and I do want to, I know I pinpointed a lot of things that I didn't like, but there was a lot of things that I really did like. So I think it's going to get a solid 8 out of 10. That sounds great to me. Anyway, my goal now is to take a look at a possible Season 2 release date of Sirius the Jaeger for you guys. I will try and work on that tomorrow. If not, Tuesday for sure it will be released. The other thing I want to, of course, talk about is I want to tell you what anime I've been watching. So, as of right now, I finished Sirius the Jaeger, and tonight I'm going to be starting Fate Zero, which I heard was a really good anime that a lot of people really enjoyed, the entire Fate series, but they said Fate Zero is the best one, so I'm going to be watching that. And I'm really just kind of be going week by week as well for some of the winter season stuff. I've got Boruto every week, as that's now been back to canon, so I can pick it right back up. And I heard about evidently something like canon-like happened in that filler, but I've got Boruto, I've got The Shield Hero every week, I've got Promised Neverland every week, and I've got Sword Art Online every week. Those are the 4 that I'm going to be watching week by week. And in terms of in total thing, Fate Zero is what I'm going to be going with. So Fate Zero will be the show that I'm going to be going with. I'm going to watch it all the way through. I'm going to do a review video like we're doing right now. And if you guys really enjoyed Fate Zero, keep it spoiler-free down in the comments below, but let me know what you thought. That is going to be it, though, for me. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. But before I go, real quick, I'd like to thank Inferno Katsi and Josh Miguan for following me on Twitter. That's @KatsyIts and @Stroudy_V. Thank you guys so much for following me on Twitter. If you guys want to get the same shout out that they got, you will have the opportunity to do so if you follow me on Twitter. That's @AnimeAnalysisYT. Link is in your description below.